Play 1 of One-Act Play Collection 18. The School for Wives Criticized by Moliere. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
The Marquis, read by Greg Giordano.
Dorante, or the Chevalier, read by Joe Bergen.
Lycidas, a Poet, read by Todd.
Galopin, a Lackey, read by Alan Mapstone.
Urania, read by Wendy Katz-Hiller.
Eliza, read by Jen Broda.
Climene, read by Sonia.
Stage Directions, read by Jim Hedrick. Scene, Paris, in the house of Urania. The School for Wives Criticized. Scene 1, Urania, Eliza.
What? Cousin, has no one been to visit you?
Not a soul.
I am really astonished that we have both of us been alone the whole day.
It astonishes me, too, for it is by no means usual. And your house, thank heaven, is the ordinary resort of all the loungers at court.
The afternoon, to be candid, seems very tedious to me.
And I have found it very short.
That, cousin, is because witty people love solitude.
Oh, I am not one of those witty people. You know I have no pretensions to that.
For my part, I confess I like company.
So do I, but I like it select. And the number of stupid visits we have to endure is, amongst others, the reason why I often take pleasure in being alone.
It is an over-refinement not to be able to bear any but select people.
And it is too indiscriminate a complacence to bear all sorts of people with indifference.
I relish those who are sensible, and amuse myself with those who talk nonsense.
In truth, those who talk nonsense do not proceed far without wearying you. And most of those folks are no longer amusing after the second visit. But, talking of your nonsensical people, will you not rid me of your troublesome Marquis? Do you mean always to leave him on my hands? And do you think that I can hold out forever against his everlasting quips?
It is the language of fashion, and they make merry over it at court.
So much the worse for those who do, and who rack their brains all day long to talk such an obscure jargon. A fine thing to introduce into the conversation of the Louvre their stale double entendres raked together from the kennels of the markets and of the Place Maubert. A pretty style of jesting for courtiers, and for a man to display his wit by coming up to you and saying, "Madame, you are in the Place Royale. Everyone sees you 3 leagues from Paris, for everyone is pleased to see you, because Boulogne is a village 3 leagues off. Is it not very gallant and very witty? And ought they not to be proud for having hit upon such pretty puns?"
At the same time, they do not say this as a piece of wit, for most of those who affect this language know themselves that it is ridiculous.
Worse still, to be at such pains to talk nonsense, and to be sorry jokers on purpose. I think them less excusable for this, and if I were their judge, I know well to what I would condemn all these gentry, the punsters.
A truce to this subject, which seems to excite you. Let us talk of Durant, who, methinks, is long in coming to the supper we are to take together.
Perhaps he has forgotten it, and...
Scene 2, Urania, Eliza, Galopin.
Madam, Climene has come to see you.
Oh, bless me, here is a visit.
You complained of being alone, so heaven punishes you for it.
Quick, go and tell her I am not at home.
She has already been told you're in.
Who is the fool that told her?
I, madam.
Deuce take the little rascal. I shall teach you to give answers on your own behalf.
I'll go and tell her, madam, that you do not wish to be at home.
Stay, you stupid. As the mischief is done, let her come up.
She is still talking to a man in the street.
Ah, cousin, how annoying this visit is just now.
True, the lady is naturally rather troublesome. I always disliked her much. And though she is a lady of rank, she is the most stupid creature that ever pretended to sense.
The term is rather strong.
Come, come, she richly deserves it, and more too if justice were done her. Is there anyone that better deserves to go by the name of a précieuse than she, to use the word in its worst sense?
She disclaims the epithet, at all events.
So she does. She disclaims the epithet, but not the thing. For she is finical from head to foot, and the most formal creature in the world. Her whole body appears to be out of joint, and the motions of her hips, her shoulders, and her head seem to go like a piece of clockwork. She always assumes a languishing and silly tone, grimaces to make her mouth appear small, and rolls her eyes to make them seem large.
Softly, pray. If she should happen to overhear...
No, she is not coming up yet. I shall never forget that evening when she was anxious to see Damon on account of his reputation and of the books he had published. You know the man and his natural indolence in keeping up a conversation. She had invited him to supper as a wit, and never did he appear such a fool amidst half a dozen people for whom she had meant him to be a treat, and who stared at him with all their might, as if he ought not to be made like other men. They all thought he was there to entertain the company with witty sayings, that every word from his mouth was to be something extraordinary, that he ought to deliver an impromptu repartee on everything that was said, and not even to ask for a glass of wine without uttering a witticism. But he took them in by his silence, and the lady was as ill pleased with him as I was with her.
Be quiet. I will go and receive her at the door.
One word more. I wish she was married to the Marquis we spoke of. What a fine match it would be between a précieuse and a Tour Lupin.
Will you be quiet? Here she comes.
Scene 3. Clymene, Urania, Eliza, Galopin.
How long you have been!
Oh, for heaven's sake, my dear, make them bring me a chair immediately.
Urania, 2, Galopin.
An armchair. Here, quick!
Oh, good heaven!
What can be the matter?
I can bear it no longer.
What ails you?
I'm going to faint.
Have you got the vapors?
No.
Shall I unlace you?
Oh, Lord, no. Oh!
What is your ailment, then? When did it seize you?
About 3 hours ago, and I brought it from the Palais Royal.
How?
I have just seen, as a punishment for my sins, that villainous rhapsody, The School for Wives. I feel still a twinge from the fainting fit which it gave me. I believe I shall not be myself again for a fortnight.
Just see how our ailments arise without our suspecting it.
I do not know what stuff my cousin and I are made of, but we were at the same play the day before yesterday, and we both came away well and hearty.
What? Have you seen it?
Yes, and listened to every word.
And did you not almost go into convulsions, my dear?
I am not so delicate, thank heaven. For my part, I fancy that this comedy would be more likely to cure folks than to make them sick.
Oh, good heaven! What are you saying? Can such a proposition be advanced by anyone who has the smallest stock of common sense? Do you think that everyone can with impunity insult reason as you do? And is there in very truth a mind so hungry for a joke as to relish the silly things with which this play is seasoned? I confess, for my part, I do not find the least wit in the whole of it. Children through the ear was, to my thinking, in execrable taste. The cream tart turned me sick, and I thought I must have vomited when I heard broth mentioned.
Heaven! Most elegantly spoken. I was inclined to think the piece good, but the lady's eloquence is so persuasive and gives such an agreeable turn to things that I must be of her opinion in spite of myself.
For my part, I am not so easily moved. To be candid, I look on this play as one of the most diverting which the author has produced.
Oh, I pity you for talking so. I cannot let you display so much bluntness of perception. Can a virtuous person find anything pleasant in a piece that keeps her modesty in continual alarm and sullies the imagination at every turn?
What a nice way of speaking! What a terrible hand you are at criticism, madam, and how I pity poor Molière in having you for an enemy.
Believe me, dear, correct your judgment in good earnest. For the sake of your honour, do not openly say that this comedy has pleased you.
I cannot think what you found in it to shock your modesty.
Good lack, all of it. I do maintain it for a fact that a gentlewoman cannot see it without confusion. So much impropriety and nastiness did I find in it.
You must have a special discernment for impropriety. I own I could see none.
It is undoubtedly because you would not see it. For in short, all its impropriety, thank heaven, is plain enough. It has not the least cloak to hide it, and the boldest eyes are shocked by its nakedness.
Oh!
Oh, oh, oh!
Yet, once more, if you please, point out to me some of the improprieties you speak of.
Alas! Is it necessary to point them out?
Yes. I ask of you but one passage that shocked you very much.
Do you wish any other than the scene with that Agnès, where she tells what Horace took from her?
What do you find improper in that?
Oh!
Please?
Fie!
But
I have nothing more to say to you.
for my part, I see no harm in it.
So much the worse for you.
So much the better, I think. I look at things as they are shown to me, and do not turn them round to look at what should not be seen.
But a woman's modesty...
A woman's modesty does not consist in grimacing. It ill becomes us to be overwise. Affectation of this kind is worse than anything, and I see nothing more ridiculous than that delicate honour which takes everything amiss, gives a bad meaning to the most innocent words, and is startled at shadows. Believe me, those who make so much ado are not esteemed the most honest women. On the contrary, their mysterious severity and affected grimaces provoke public animadversions upon the actions of their own lives. The world is only too glad to discover anything to carp at. To give you a proof, there were some ladies at this comedy the other day, in a box opposite to ours, who, by their affected gestures throughout the piece, by averting their heads and hiding their faces, gave rise to 100 impertinent remarks upon their behaviour, which would never have been uttered but for that. One of the footmen even cried out aloud that their ears were more chaste than all the rest of their bodies.
In short, we ought to be blind throughout this play, and pretend not to see anything in it.
We ought not to see what is not there.
Do not tell me. I maintain that the improprieties are glaring.
And I remain still of a different mind.
What? Is not modesty plainly shocked by Agnès in the passage we are speaking about?
No, truly. She does not say a word which is indelicate in itself, and if you will understand something else, it is you who create the impropriety, and not she, for she only speaks of the ribbon that was taken from her.
Oh, yes, the ribbon. But that "thee," when she checks herself, is not put there for nothing. Odd ideas are suggested by this "thee." That "thee" is tremendously scandalous. Say what you will, you cannot defend the coarseness of this "thee."
True, cousin. I am with this lady against that "the." That "the" is excessively coarse. You are wrong to defend that "the."
Its obscenity is unbearable.
What word do you use, madam?
Obscenity, madam.
Oh, good gracious! Obscenity! I do not know the meaning of the word, but I think it very nice.
There, you see how your own relation takes my part.
Ah, she is a chatterbox who does not speak as she thinks. Do not trust her much if you will take my advice.
Oh, you wicked creature, to try to make this lady suspect me. Just think what would become of me if she were to believe what you say. Could I be so unfortunate, madam, as to have you think this of me?
No, no, I do not mind her words, and I believe that you are more sincere than she says.
Oh, you are quite right, madam. And you do me justice when you believe that I think you the most engaging person in the world, that I enter into all your sentiments and am charmed with every expression that comes from your lips.
Indeed, I speak without affectation.
We can see that, madam, quite well, and everything about you is natural. Your words, the tone of your voice, your gait, your actions, and your dress have an indescribable air of fashion about them, which is quite enchanting. I study you with my eyes and ears, and I am so full of you that I strive to ape you and imitate you in everything.
You are bantering me, madam.
Pardon me, madam. Who could banter you?
I am not a good model, madam.
Oh, yes, madam.
You flatter me, madam.
Not at all, madam.
Spare me, I beg you, madam.
I do spare you, madam, and I say not half of what I think, madam.
Ah, good heavens, let us stop it, I beseech you. You throw me into a dreadful confusion.
2. Urania.
There, you see we are both against you, and obstinacy so ill becomes clever people.
Scene 4. The Marquis, Clemene, Urania, Eliza, Galopin. Galopin at the door.
Stop, sir, please.
Do you not know me, fellow?
I know you, but you shall not come in.
What a noise you are making, little lackey.
It is not fair to wish to get in where you are not wanted.
I wish to see your mistress.
She is not at home, I tell you.
Why, she is in her room there.
That may be. She is there, but she is not at home.
What is the matter?
Your lackey, madam, is playing the fool.
Madam, I am telling him that you are not at home, and he will insist on coming in.
And why did you tell this gentleman that I am not at home?
You scolded me the other day for telling him you were at home.
The insolent fellow. Pray, sir, do not attend to what he says. He is a little stupid creature who takes you for someone else.
I saw as much, madam, and had it not been out of respect for you, I should have taught him to distinguish people of quality.
My cousin is much obliged to you for this deference.
Urania, 2. Galopin.
Bring a chair there, impertinent.
There isn't one there.
Bring it nearer.
Galopin pushes it rudely and exit. Scene 5. The Marquis, Clemene, Urania, Eliza.
Your little lackey, madam, has a special contempt for me.
He would certainly be much to blame.
It is possibly because I pay interest on my ill looks.
Age will make him know people of fashion better.
Of what were you speaking, ladies, when I interrupted you?
Of the comedy The School for Wives.
I have just come from it.
Well, sir, pray, how do you like it?
It is altogether silly.
Oh, I am so delighted to hear you say so.
The most wretched piece imaginable. What the deuce! I could hardly get a seat. I thought I should have been crushed to death at the door, and I was never so trampled upon. Pray, see what a state my rolls and ribbons are in.
That certainly speaks volumes against the School for Wives, and you justly condemn it.
Never, I think, was such a wretched play composed.
Ah, here is Durant, whom we were expecting.
Scene 6. Durant, the Marquis, Clemene, Eliza, Urania.
Pray do not move, and do not break off your conversation. You are on a subject which, for 4 days, has been the common talk of Paris, and never was anything more amusing than to hear the various judgments that are passed upon it. For indeed, I have heard this play condemned by some for the very things that others most praise.
The Marquis speaks very ill of it.
It is true. I think it detestable. Detestable, egad. To the last degree detestable. What you may call detestable.
And I, dear Marquis, think the judgment detestable.
How, Chevalier, do you mean to vindicate this play?
Yes, I do mean to vindicate it.
Egad, I warrant it to be detestable.
That guarantee would not be accepted in the city. But, Marquis, for what reason, pray, is this comedy as you describe it?
Why, detestable.
Aye?
It is detestable because it is detestable.
After that, there is not a word to be said. The cause is ended. But still, instruct us and tell us its faults.
How can I? I did not so much as give myself the trouble to listen to it. But yet I assure you I never saw anything so wretched, as I hope to be saved. And Dorlas, who sat opposite to me, was of my mind.
The authority is weighty, and you are well backed.
You have only to mark the continual bursts of laughter from the pit. I wish no more to prove its utter worthlessness.
You are then, Marquis, one of those grand gentlemen who will not allow the pit to have common sense, and who would be vexed to join in their laugh, though it were at the best thing conceivable. The other day I saw one of our friends on the stage, who made himself ridiculous by this. He heard the piece out with the most gloomy seriousness imaginable, and whatever tickled others made him frown. At every burst of laughter he shrugged his shoulders and cast a look of pity on the pit. Occasionally, too, he glanced contemptuously at them, saying in an audible voice, "Laugh away, pit, laugh away." Our friend's annoyance was a second comedy. He acted bravely before the whole house, and everyone agreed that he could not have played his part better. Pray note, Marquis, and your friends as well, that common sense has no fixed place at a theatre, that the difference between half a louis and 15 sous makes none whatever in the matter of good taste, that whether we sit or stand, we may pass a bad judgment, and that, in short, speaking generally, I would place considerable reliance on the applause of the pit, because, amongst those who go there, many are capable of judging the piece according to rule, whilst others judge it as they ought, allowing themselves to be guided by circumstances, having neither a blind prejudice, nor an affected complaisance, nor a ridiculous refinement.
So, sir, you are a defender of the pit? Egad, I am glad of it. I shall not fail to let them know that you are one of their friends.
Bluff as much as you like. I am for good sense, and I cannot bear the brain bubbles of our masqueril marquise. It drives me mad to see people make themselves ridiculous, in spite of their rank. Folks who always decide and talk boldly of everything without knowledge, who will shout with pleasure at the bad parts of a comedy, and never applaud those which are good, who, when they see a picture or go to a concert, blame and praise all by rule of contraries, who pick up artistic shibboleths wherever they can, get them by heart, and never fail to twist and misplace them. Zounds, gentlemen, hold your peace. Since heaven has not blessed you with the knowledge of one single thing, do not make yourselves laughing stocks to those who hear you. And remember that if you never open your mouths, you may perhaps be taken for clever men.
Egad, sir, you are carrying this.
Why, Marquis, I am not speaking to you. I am addressing a round dozen of those gentry who disgrace courtiers by their nonsensical manners, and make people believe we are all alike. For my part, I shall disclaim it as much as I can. I shall fall foul of them whenever we meet, until they grow wise at last.
Now tell me, sir, do you think Lysander has wit?
Yes, doubtless, and a good deal of it.
That is what no one can deny.
Ask him what he thinks of the School for Wives. You shall see he will tell you he does not like it.
Upon my word, there are plenty who are spoiled by too much wit, who see things imperfectly, because the light is too strong, and who would even be very sorry to be of other people's opinion, so that they may have the glory of passing judgment themselves.
It is true. Our friend is doubtless one of those people. He must be first in his opinion, and would have others wait respectfully for his decision. All applause which precedes his own is an outrage on his enlightenment, which he avenges openly by taking the other side. He expects people to consult him in all questions of wit, and I am sure that if the author had shown him his play before he let the public see it, he would have thought it the finest in the world.
And what do you say of the Marchioness Araminta, who declares the School for Wives everywhere dreadful, and says she never could endure the improprieties of which it is full?
I say that this is of a piece with the character she assumes, and that some folks make themselves ridiculous by affecting too much honour. Witty, no doubt, she is, but she has followed the bad example of those who, being in the decline of life, wish to replace by some means or other what they have lost, and fancy that grimaces of fastidious prudery will serve instead of youth and beauty. The lady in question carries it farther than anyone. Her scrupulous ingenuity finds obscenity where no one would ever have seen it. I hear that these scruples go the length of disfiguring our language, and that there are scarcely any words in it of which Our Lady's severity will not dock either head or tail on account of the immodest syllables she finds in them.
What a wag you are, Chevalier!
So, Chevalier, you think to defend your play by satirizing those who condemn it?
By no means, but I think that this lady is scandalized without reason.
Gently, Chevalier. There may be other ladies of the same mind.
I know, at all events, that you are not, and that when you saw this play...
True, but I have changed my opinion, and this lady,
pointing to Clymene,
supports her by such convincing reasons that she has won me over to her side.
Durant to Clymene.
Oh, madam, I beg your pardon, and if you will, I shall, for your sake, unsay all that I have said.
I will not have it for my sake, but for reason's sake. For indeed this piece, if you look at it properly, is quite indefensible, and I cannot imagine—
Ah, here is Mr. Lycidas, the author. He comes just in time for this discussion. Mr. Lycidas, take a chair and sit down here.
Scene 7. Lycidas, Clymene, Urania, Eliza, Durant, the Marquis.
Madam, I am rather late, but I was obliged to read my piece at the house of the Marchioness of whom I spoke to you. The praise bestowed on it kept me an hour longer than I anticipated.
Praise has a great charm to delay an author.
Sit down then, Mr. Lycidas. We shall read your play after supper.
All who were there are coming to the first representation, and have promised to do their duty as they ought.
I believe it. But pray, once more, please to sit down. We are engaged on a subject which I shall be glad we should pursue.
I trust, madam, that you will also take a box for that day.
We shall see. Pray, let us go on with our conversation.
I warn you, madam, that they are nearly all taken.
That is capital. Now, I was wanting you when you came, and everyone here was against me.
Eliza to Urania and pointing to Durant.
He was on your side at first, but now
Pointing to Clymene.
that he knows that Clymene is at the head of the opposite party, I fancy you may just look for other aid.
No, I would not have him neglect your cousin, and I will allow his wit to be on the side of his heart.
With this permission, madam, I shall make bold to defend myself.
But first, let us know somewhat of Lycidas' mind.
Upon what, madam?
On the subject of the school for wives.
Ah,
What do you think of it?
I have nothing to say on that head. You know that, amongst us authors, we must speak of each other's works with great circumspection.
But still, between ourselves, what do you think of this play?
I, sir,
Tell us your candid opinion.
I think it very fine.
Really?
Really. Why not? Is it not indeed the finest conceivable?
You are a wicked fellow, Mr. Lycidas. You do not speak as you think.
Pardon me.
Oh dear, I know you. Do not dissemble.
I, sir?
I see clearly that you praise the piece only through politeness, and that, at the bottom of your heart, you agree with the many who think it bad. Come, confess that this comedy is a wretched thing.
True, it is not admired by connoisseurs.
Upon my word, Chevalier, you have got it. You are paid for your raillery.
Laugh away, dear Marquis, laugh away.
You see, we have the learned on our side.
It is true, Lycidas's judgment is worth consideration. But he will excuse me if I do not yield for all that. And since I have presumed to defend myself against this lady's opinion,
Pointing to Clymene.
he will not take it amiss if I oppose his.
What? When you see this lady, the Marquis, and Mr. Lycidas against you, dare you still resist? Fie, what bad manners!
For my part, what confounds me is that sensible people can take it into their heads to defend the stupidities of this piece.
Egad, madam, it is wretched from beginning to end.
That is soon said, Marquis. There is nothing more easy than to cut the matter short in that way, and I do not see anything that can stand against the sovereignty of your decision.
Gad, all the other actors who went to see it spoke all the ill they could of it.
Oh, I will not say another word. You are right, Marquis. Since the other actors speak ill of it, we must certainly believe them. They are all discerning gentlemen, and speak disinterestedly. There is no more to be said. I give in.
Give in or not, I am sure you will never persuade me to endure the immodesties of this play any more than the rude satires on woman which are to be found in it.
For my part, I shall be careful not to be offended, and to take nothing to myself that is said in it. Satire of this kind is aimed directly at habits, and only hits individuals by rebound. Let us not apply to ourselves the points of general censure. Let us profit by the lesson, if possible, without assuming that we are spoken against. All the ridiculous delineations which are drawn on the stage should be looked on by everyone without annoyance. They are public mirrors, in which we must never pretend to see ourselves. To bruit it about that we are offended at being hit is to state openly that we are at fault.
As for me, I do not speak of these things for any part I may have in them. I think I live in such a manner before the world as not to fear being looked for in a picture of ill-behaved women.
Certainly, madam. We will never look for you there. Your conduct is sufficiently well known, and these are things that no one thinks of discussing.
Urania to Clymene.
Madam, I said nothing that could apply to you. My words, like the satire of a comedy, are confined to generalities.
I do not doubt it, madam. But let us no longer dwell on this episode. I do not know how you take the insults cast upon our sex in a certain part of the play. For my part, I own I am in a terrible passion to hear this impertinent author call us bipeds.
Do you not see that it is a ridiculous character he makes to speak so?
And besides, madam, do you not know that the reproaches of lovers never offend? That it is pretty much the same with furious as with mawkish lovers, and that on such occasions the strangest words, and worse than strange, are often taken as marks of affection by the very persons who receive them.
Say what you will, I cannot digest that any more than the broth and cream tart of which this lady was just speaking.
Oh, upon my word, yes. Cream tart. That is what I was saying. Cream tart. How I thank you, madam, for reminding me of cream tart. Are there apples enough in Normandy for cream tart? Cream tart, egad, cream tart.
Well, what do you mean with your cream tart?
'Sdeath, cream tart, chevalier.
But what?
Cream tart.
Let us have your reasons.
Cream tart.
But I think you should explain your meaning.
Cream tart, madam.
What do you find there to object to?
I? Nothing. Cream tart.
Oh, I give it up.
My lord goes the right way to work and gives it you nicely. But I wish Mr. Lycidas would finish and give them a touch or two in his fashion.
It is not my wont to find fault. I am very indulgent to the works of other people. But, indeed, without any offence to the friendship which the Chevalier bears to the author, it must be owned that comedies of this kind are not genuine comedies, and that there is a vast difference between these trifles and the beauty of serious pieces. Yet every one gives into it nowadays. Nothing else is run after. We find lamentable solitude at great productions, whilst these stupid plays have all Paris after them. My heart, I own, bleeds at it sometimes. It is a scandal to all France.
It's true that people's taste is strangely corrupted in this matter, and that the age is getting very low.
Oh, that is exquisite again, getting very low. Did you invent that, madam?
I
thought so.
So you think, Lycidas, that all the wit and beauty are to be found in serious poems, and that comic pieces are trifles which deserve no praise?
I certainly do not think so. Tragedy, no doubt, is very fine when it is well written, but comedy has also its charms, and I believe that one is no less difficult than the other.
Assuredly, madam, and as to the difficulty, if you should rather set it on the side of comedy, perhaps you would not be far wrong. Indeed, I think that it is much easier to soar with grand sentiments, to brave fortune in verse, to arraign destiny and reproach the gods, than to broach ridicule in a fit manner, and to make the faults of all mankind seem pleasant act on the stage. When you paint heroes, you can do as you like. These are fancy portraits in which we do not look for a resemblance. You have only to follow your soaring imagination, which often neglects the true in order to attain the marvellous. But when you paint men, you must paint after nature. We expect resemblance in these portraits. You have done nothing if you do not make us recognise the people of your day. In a word, in a serious piece, it suffices to escape blame, to speak good sense, and to write well. But this is not enough in comedy. You must be merry, and it is a difficult undertaking to make gentle folks laugh.
I think I am one of the gentle folks, and yet I did not find cause for laughter in all I saw.
Upon my word, no more did I.
Oh, you Marquis, I am not astonished. That was because you found no puns in it.
Faith, sir, what we find there is not much better. All the jokes in this comedy are, to my mind, a little insipid.
The court did not think so.
Ah, sir, the court?
Pray, finish, Mr. Lycidas. I see you mean to say that the court is no judge in these matters, and this is the usual refuge of you gentlemen authors. In the scant success of your own works, to accuse the injustice of the age and the want of discernment of the courtiers. Be assured, Mr. Lycidas, that courtiers have as good eyes as other people, that folks who wear Venice lace and feathers may be as acute as those who wear a bob wig and a little all-round cravat, that the grand test of all your plays is the judgment of the court, that you must study its taste in order to find the art of success, that there is no place where decisions are so just, and that, not to speak of all the learned men to be found there, a style of wit is created amongst them by sheer natural common sense and the intercourse of people of fashion, which, beyond question, judges more delicately of things than all the rusty learning of pedants.
It is true that, however little you remain there, you have plenty of things daily passing before your eyes to give you a habit of recognizing them, and especially as to what concerns good or bad raillery.
The court, I grant you, has a few ridiculous people, and I am, as you may see, the first to banter them. But upon my word, there is a great number, too, amongst professional wits. If we ridicule some marquises, I fancy there is much more reason to ridicule authors. It would be amusing to put them on the stage, with their learned antics and ridiculous refinements, their vicious custom of killing folks in their plays, their greed of praise, their scantiness of thought, their traffic of reputation, their cliques, offensive and defensive, as well as their wars of wit and combats in prose and verse.
Moliere is very happy, sir, in having so warm a defender. But to come to facts, the question is whether this piece is good. I engage to show in it 100 manifest faults.
It is strange in you gentlemen poets that you always condemn the pieces which every one runs after, and speak well only of those which no one goes to see. You display an unconquerable hatred for the one, and an inconceivable tenderness for the others.
That is because it is generous to side with the unfortunate.
But pray, Mr. Lycidas, point us out some of those faults which I could not detect.
Those who are versed in Aristotle and Horace, madam, see at once that this comedy sins against all the rules of art.
I confess that I am not familiar with those gentlemen, and that I do not know the rules of art.
You are a most amusing set with your rules of art, with which you embarrass the ignorant and deafen us perpetually. To hear you talk, one would suppose that those rules of art were the greatest mysteries in the world, and yet they are but a few simple observations which good sense has made upon that which may impair the pleasure taken in that kind of poems. And the same good sense which in former days made these observations makes them every day easily, without resorting to Horace and Aristotle, I should like to know whether the great rule of all rules is not to please, and whether a play which attains this has not followed a good method. Can the whole public be mistaken in these matters, and cannot everyone judge what pleases him?
I have observed one thing in these gentlemen, and that is, that those who speak most of rules, and who know them better than others, write comedies which no one admires.
Which shows, madam, how little notice we should take of their troublesome objections. For in short, if pieces according to rule do not please, and those do please which are not according to rule, then the rules must of necessity have been badly made. So let us laugh at the sophistry with which they would trammel the public taste, and let us judge a comedy only by the effect which it produces upon ourselves. Let us give ourselves up honestly to whatever stirs us deeply, and never hunt for arguments to mar our pleasure.
For my part, when I see a play, I look only whether the points strike me, and when I am well entertained, I do not ask whether I have been wrong, and whether the rules of Aristotle would forbid me to laugh.
It is just as if a man were to taste a capital sauce, and wished to know whether it were good, according to the recipe in the cookery book.
Very true. And I wonder at the critical refinements of certain people about things in which we should think for ourselves.
You are right, madam, in thinking all these mysterious critical refinements very odd. For really, if they are to subsist, we are reduced to discrediting ourselves. Our very senses must be slaves in everything, and even in eating and drinking. We must no longer dare to find anything good, without permission from the Committee of Taste.
So, sir, your only reason is that the School for Wives has pleased you? You care not whether it be according to rule, provided—
Gently, Mr. Lycidas. I do not grant you that. I certainly say that the great art is to please, and that, as this comedy has pleased those for whom it was written, I think that is enough, and that we need not care about anything else. But, at the same time, I maintain that it does not sin against any of the rules to which you allude. I have read them, thank heaven, as well as other men, and I could easily prove that perhaps we have not on the stage a more regular play than this.
Courage, Mr. Lycidas. We are undone if you give way.
What, sir? When the protasis, the epitasis, the peripedia—
Nay, Mr. Lycidas, you overwhelm us with your fine words. Pray, do not seem so learned. Humanize your discourse a little, and speak intelligibly. Do you fancy a Greek word gives more weight to your arguments? And do you not think that it would look as well to say the exposition of the subject as the protasis, the progress of the plot as the epithesis, the crowning incident as the peripetia?
These are terms of art that we are allowed to make use of. But as these words offend your ears, I shall explain myself in another way, and I ask you to give me a plain answer to 3 or 4 things which I have to say. Can a piece be endured which sins against the very description of a play? For, after all, the name of a dramatic poem comes from a Greek word which signifies to act, in order to show that the nature of the poem consists in action. But in this comedy there are no actions. It is made up of narratives by Agnes or by Horace.
Ha ha, Chevalier!
Ingeniously said. Now we come to the point.
Can anything be less witty, or rather more low, than some of the words at which everyone laughs? Above all, children through the ear?
Capital.
Oh!
Is not the scene of the servant man and maid, indoors, of tedious length and absolutely contemptible?
True.
Assuredly.
He is right.
Does not Arnulph give his money too readily to Horace? And, as he is the ridiculous character of the piece, ought he to be made to do the action of a gentleman?
Good. The observation is good again.
Admirable.
Marvelous.
Are not the sermon and maxims ridiculous, offending against the respect due to religion?
Well said.
Spoken as it ought to be.
Nothing could be better.
And this Monsieur de la Souche, to be brief, who is supposed to be a sensible man, and who appears so grave in many passages, does he not descend something too comical and too exaggerated in the fifth act, when he declares the vehemence of his love for Agnes, with that wild rolling of his eyes, those ridiculous sighs, those silly tears, which set every one laughing?
Wonderful, egad!
Miraculous.
Long live Mr. Lycidas.
I pass over 100,000 other things for fear of being tedious.
Upon my word, Chevalier, you are in for it.
We shall see.
You have met your man.
Perhaps so.
Answer, 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 answer.
Willingly. It is...
Answer, I beg you.
Allow me, then. If...
Gad, I defy you to answer.
Yes. If you talk perpetually.
Pray let us hear his reasons.
First, it is not true to say the whole piece consists only of narratives. There is a good deal of action in it, passing on the stage. The narratives are themselves actions according to the constitution of the piece, inasmuch as these narratives are all naturally told to the person concerned, who, by these means, is every moment thrown into a confusion which delights the audience, and who, at each fresh tiding, takes all the measures he can to ward off the misfortune which he dreads.
For my part, I think the beauty of the subject of the School for Wives consists in this continual confidence, and what seems to me diverting enough is, that a sensible man who is warned of everything by an innocent creature whom he loves, and by a marplot who is his rival, cannot, for all that, escape his fate.
Nonsense! Nonsense!
A weak answer.
Pitiful reasons.
As to the children through the ear, it has no jest in it, except as regards Arnulf. The author did not insert it as a jest, but only as a characteristic of the man, and the better to depict his craze, since he repeats a vulgar, stupid saying of Agnes as the finest thing in the world, and one which has given him inconceivable pleasure.
Wretchedly answered.
That will not satisfy us.
It is saying nothing.
As to the money which he gives so liberally, besides that the letter of his best friend is sufficient surety for him, it is by no means incompatible for a man to be ridiculous in some things and worthy in others. And as to the scene between Alain and Georgette in the house, which some think long and insipid, it is certainly not without its reasons. And just as Arnulf is victimized during his journey by the pure innocence of his mistress, so on his return he is kept a long time at his own door by the innocence of his servants, just that he may be punished throughout by the very things whereby he thought to make his precautions good.
These reasons are good for nothing.
All this is not worth a jot.
It is pitiful.
As to the moral discourse which you call a sermon, it is a fact that truly religious people who heard it saw nothing that shocked what you mentioned, and doubtless those words, hell and boiling cauldrons, are sufficiently justified by the extravagance of Arnulf, and by the innocence of her to whom he speaks. As for the amorous transport of the fifth act, which you blame to be too exaggerated and burlesqued, I should like to know whether this is not a satire on lovers, and whether sober people, and even the most staid on such occasions, do not do things...
Upon my word, Chevalier, you had better hold your tongue.
Very well. In short, if we were to look at ourselves when we are much in love...
I will not so much as listen to you.
Hear me, pray. In the violence of our passion...
To-lo-lo-lo-de-roll, to-lo-lo-lo-de-roll.
What?
To-lo-lo-lo-lo-de-roll, to-lo-lo-lo-de-roll.
I am not aware...
To-lo-lo-lo-lo-de-roll, to-lo-lo-lo-lo-de-roll.
I think that,
To-lo-lo-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
There are many funny things in our discussion. I fancy a little comedy might be made out of them, and that it would not be a bad wind-up to The School for Wives.
You are right.
Egad, Chevalier, you would play a part in it not at all to your advantage.
True, Marquis.
For my part, I wish it could be done, if they could give the whole thing just as it has happened.
And I would gladly furnish them with my part.
I think I should not refuse them mine.
As everyone is satisfied, Chevalier, write out our discussion and give it to Molière, whom you know, to work into a play.
He would not care for it, I am sure. It would be no panegyric upon him.
No, no, I know his mood. He does not mind if people criticize his pieces so that they come to see them.
Aye, but what ending can we find to this plot? For there can be neither marriage nor recognition, and I do not see how we can finish the discussion.
We must think of some incident for that.
Scene last. Clemene, Urania, Eliza, Durant, Marquis, Lycidas, Galopin.
Madam, supper is ready.
Ah, this is just what we wanted for an ending, and we can find nothing more natural. They shall dispute hard and fast on both sides, as we have done, without anyone giving way. A boy shall come and say, "Supper is ready." Every one shall rise and go to supper.
The comedy cannot end better. We shall do well to stop here.
End of The School for Wives Criticized by Moliere.